This video is absolutely brilliant because not only is it funny, but it combines an element of something that was part of the Russian brilliance during the Soviet period that I think helped the Russian people overcome the authoritarianism of a Leninist, Stalinist state in the long run, is humor. And humor, as Freud and probably all wise people will tell you, is only funny because it contains a strong element of the truth. The fact of the matter is that life for most people in China is shit. Okay? The government is shit. And they are, making very, very good money selling a lot of garbage to a consumer addicted American population and European population. And it's really, rather than borrowing to the governments, but we really, the core of Chinese wealth is the fact that Americans and Europeans are buying so much junk at low prices. They have rooms and rooms full of consumer crap, with low quality junk, consumer and electronics junk. And at the other end of this globalized system with China, there's a practically slave population in large areas working in mass dormitories. They're committing suicide because of the work of making the iPad so hard. They're being worked to death. They have no consumer protections. They have no civil rights. Life for most of them would be, by our standards, not worth living. And this just parody just takes the complete wind out of the previous Chinese professor animation was put together by some group trying to influence the local election. Somehow the Chinese were on some kind of rise in the level of empires, and the United States was an empire like the Roman Empire, like the British Empire, and then like the Chinese regime. This kind of high-level view of governments in history, or some kind of geeky version of Civilization, the video game, when we should really stop to think about is, first of all, how are our behaviors making our society unsustainable, and two, we should look at what our strengths are that make us have more human capital, and that the Chinese can create the low quality consumer junk. We create the things they want to steal. We in the West create the great ideals, the great concepts, the great technology that's transforming the world. Where China could hurt us is if this cost cutting, these austerity programs in the West hit education like they may in the UK, and research to such an extent that we lose that human ingenuity edge. We lose the ability to produce high-skilled, high-tech entrepreneurs like the people who made YouTube and Google and Microsoft and Facebook and Twitter and Oracle, and who invented the web and the Web 2.0 and are inventing Web 3.0. This stuff isn't coming out of China. China is producing the base level support technology, but the real wealth and intellectual property is coming from a culture that respects humanity. It's coming from places like Amsterdam, San Francisco, New York, London, Dublin. Those are the places it's coming from. Also, no, it is not coming from places like Beijing or Singapore or um, anywhere in China. China is just seeing how it can exploit its population and try to produce enough economic wealth through exports to stave off human rights demands, particularly after Tiananmen Square.